Well, hello and welcome. Stacy the Garden Geek here. And I recently saw a study that listed 14 vegetables that packed the biggest nutritional punch. And guess what? Half of them were greens that you could grow right at home in just a couple of minutes each week. So if you want to nourish yourself with homegrown, inexpensive, organic greens so that you can live a healthy, wonderful life, you're in the right place. And if you're just getting started planting your first seeds, keep in mind that learning how to grow homegrown food is a time-honored tradition that's been passed down from generation to generation for thousands of years. You can do this. Now, one of the questions I get asked a lot is, what are some of the easiest things to grow? And it makes me so happy to tell you that those nutrient-dense greens from that study are very easy to grow. And not only are they easy, but they're fast, and they don't take up a lot of space either. Just so you have a sense of what's possible, I had a small studio apartment in Brooklyn, and I had no yard, and I desperately wanted to grow some food. I wasn't going to let anything stand in my way. So I grew all of my salad greens indoors on shelves in trays that were about this big. I had 2 trays growing salad greens, and then I had a 3rd tray growing sunflower and pea shoots. And that's all it took, just 3 trays about this big. And I had all of my salad greens growing indoors all winter long. And you could do this too. I've taught thousands of people all around the world how to get the most out of their garden space. So here's 5 types of easy greens that you can start growing at home, indoors or outdoors right away, even if you don't have any garden space, it's winter and it's freezing outside. Ready to get started? Okay, so next to this video is your downloadable guide to greens. Download your copy and then follow along with this video. Here we go. All right, first up is the fastest homegrown food from seed to dinner plate, and that's sprouts. So some sprouts can be grown in as few as 2 days. Some take as many as 5 days. That's it. And the best part is you don't need soil, you don't need sun, you just need the right seeds, a little bit of water, and a couple typical kitchen supplies. My favorite seeds to sprout are lentils because they're just so fast, and I love radish seeds to add spice to my salads. You're probably most familiar with mung bean sprouts, which you will get if you go to a lot of Chinese or Thai restaurants. Now, seeds will vary a little bit, but most seeds want to be soaked in water for 8 hours. Overnight works really well. When you wake up, you want to drain all the water, rinse the seeds, and then let them sit somewhere where they can stay moist but not wet, somewhere where you can allow the excess water to drain, something like a tipped over glass jar or a metal sieve. And you let them sit out for a couple of days, keeping them moist but not wet, rinsing them whenever you need to, draining off excess water, and then you wait. And remember, these are seeds, so they're used to grow underground, so they don't need any light in this process. Now, the thing that makes growing sprouts so special is that they're grown with just water, nothing else, but there's a danger that comes along with that. So water and moisture can breed bad mold and bacteria, and this is why sprouts are not recommended for babies or people with weaker immune systems. So don't let this scare you away. Your nose is often a really good indicator if something has gone funky. And here's the deal. If you're worried that your sprouts have gone funky, you can always cook them and all that bad bacteria will be killed. But you probably want to eat your sprouts raw because that's when they're crunchy, and also that's where studies show that the most nutrients are packed into that food when they're uncooked. So that's why sprouts are on the list as one of the most nutritious foods on the planet. Think of it this way, you're eating a potential entire plant in just one bite. So every seed is a potential for one large plant, and you're just popping that in your mouth. That's crazy cool, right? Okay, so sprouts are very special. All the benefits of gardening right in your kitchen. The second type of greens that you might want to grow are shoots. And you might be thinking, sprouts, shoots, aren't they the same thing? No, they're not. So sprouts and shoots are actually technical words in gardening, and they're used very specifically for different stages of plant growth and also how they are grown. So there's 2 big differences between sprouts and shoots. The first is that sprouts are grown in water only, and shoots are grown in some sort of growing medium. Many people grow shoots indoors in trays, and they grow them in a seed starting mix. Now this is important. If you're growing indoors, you're not using soil. Soil is too heavy. You want a lightweight mixture that holds moisture but also has a lot of space for those roots to grow easily. It's kind of like a wet sponge. The second big difference between sprouts and shoots is that sprouts are much taller. They're more mature. So typically they're 7 to 10 days old, up to 14 days for some types of greens. So they're bigger. And the benefit is that you get more green from every seed and you start to bulk up your salads a little bit more. And the trade-off here is that you need to buy some supplies, some seed starting mix, and potentially a lamp in order to grow the shoots. If you have sunlight and warm temperatures, you can grow these outdoors in these trays, but most people grow shoots indoors because they don't have space outdoors, or it's winter, it's too cold. Now, it is possible to grow these shoots on a sunny window ledge, but keep in mind that photosynthesis is directly related to how much greenery you get. More light equals more green. So if you want to ensure lots of green on your shoots, then get yourself a grow lamp. Okay, our greens are getting bigger each time we talk about a new way of growing. So next up are microgreens. Seed to plate, it will take you 14 to 21 days, depending on what kind of seeds you're growing. And what makes it a microgreen? Well, you guessed it, it's small. Think baby salad size. So again, microgreens, actually a technical word, which is about the stage of growth. So a quick lesson here in vegetable plants. Inside of every vegetable seed are one or two cotyledons. Most have two. And as a seed emerges out of the ground, the cotyledons are the first things that you will see. They look like leaves, but they're not. And these cotyledons are considered part of the root structure of the plant because they're part of the seed. We've already talked about sprouts and shoots. Many times the cotyledons are barely starting to form for sprouts, if at all. And for shoots, the cotyledons are fully formed. Microgreens are the next stage of development. This is when greens form their true leaves. And most cotyledons are heart-shaped or long and oval, but the first true leaves that start to emerge will show you the personality of the green. So you'll see various colors emerge, and the shapes of the leaves are going to start to change. Like shoots, microgreens are typically grown in seed starting mix in trays, either inside under a grow lamp or outdoors in the sun. And yes, you will need a grow lamp indoors for best results if you're growing these microgreens, because as the plants get older, they need to photosynthesize more and more. So the benefit to microgreens is that you get the full mix of diversity, beautiful and tasty lettuce mixes and mustard mixes. It's stunning. And you have it all within 2 weeks. And so you can start to bulk up your salads with those and also put them on top of stir fries. So the fourth stage and the fourth green we're all very familiar with is salad greens. And salad greens are typically 21 to 35 days old, and they get larger with age. So basically plants that are 3 to 4 inches tall are cut so that salad greens average 2 to 3 inches in length. Now the cool thing about salad greens is that if you cut the plant 1 inch above the seed, the plant will grow back. So salad greens are the first time that you can get multiple cuttings from the same group of plants. So that's one of the biggest benefits of growing salad greens. You can cut them and they come back time and time again. And you can grow these salad greens indoors in trays under grow lamps, or you can grow them outside in your garden too. So because you get multiple harvests from these greens, it starts to become worth it to grow these in your precious garden soil if you have an outdoor garden. So finally, there's one more type of garden green. Do you know what it is? Chefs call them braising greens. So sometimes our salad mixes, they get a little bit too big. And sometimes when greens get bigger, they become a little tougher to chew raw. So chefs will braise them, which essentially means lightly sautéing them. So just a few moments in oil on high heat softens the greens without turning them to mush. And like salad greens, braising greens can be grown in trays indoors in lightweight potting mix. A grow lamp is recommended unless you have a greenhouse that gets plenty of light, or they can be grown outdoors in your soil. So they're typically more than 35 days old, but more importantly, they're taller than 4 inches. And like the salad greens, they can grow back again after a week, after you cut them, which means more greens are on the way in just another week. So there you have it. 5 types of the most nutrient-dense greens on the planet that you can start growing right at home, indoors or outdoors, even if you have no garden space and it's winter and it's freezing outside. And all of this in just a couple weeks. Remember to grab the guide on this page. It's your cheat sheet for everything we discovered here. And I can't stress this enough. Growing your own greens is immensely satisfying. Imagine homegrown, nutrient-dense greens as part of every meal. And in just a couple of weeks, you could set yourself up for an endless supply. So many great things about greens. They are fast, they are easy to care for, and you can grow them literally anywhere. That's what's possible. Remember, I've got students from all corners of the world who are enjoying a lifestyle surrounded by homegrown organic greens, and I'd love that for you too. So let me know in the comments below what types of greens you plan to grow this year. You have got this.